Shalom. Call Haloyim La Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Rakha Kudash. Brakta Yahweh, Brakta Yahushai, Brakta Rakha Kudash, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Rakha Kudash. Shalom and double honors to the elder apostles of Great Millstone. Shalom to the elders in the Akim and the Akwat of the Hope for the Elect. Shalom. I want to go into a quick video entitled, The Only Way to Grow is to Take the Low. I was meditating in the spirit a little bit earlier before I was praying, and this topic came to mind. Because humbleness, humility, and meekness, that's the necessary, mandatory requirements to make it into the kingdom of heaven, right? So we know that a proud man will not enter to the kingdom of heaven. And so the first precept I want to go ahead and get is 1 Corinthians 6 and verse 6. But brother goeth to law with brother. So that lets you know right there too. So a nugget there. Your brother is your nation that you descend, the nation of your fellow countrymen, not all heathen nations, right? But brother goeth to law with brother, and we know the other nations don't have the law, so they can't go to law with us because they were never given the law. So the law and the covenant and the kingdom to come is only of the Israelites. So that's a key nugget there, and that before the unbelievers. So we know 2/3 of Israel will not be believers, beginning with the wicked Pharisees and Sadducees that was with the that were appointed and set up by the Romans, the Edomites, so-called white race. And verse 7, now therefore there is utterly a fault among you, because ye go to law one with another. Why do ye not rather take wrong? And why do ye not rather suffer yourselves to be defrauded? So meaning, what? Just take the high road, don't take the low road that Esau Edom is all about, right? Because Esau, he's a petty, low life scoundrel, and he want to fight you tooth and nail for every little thing, for the simplest little discrepancy, right? So the Most High saying, that's carnal, that's fleshly, and this is just the spirit, through through Yahweh speaking through Paul, informing the Israelites that was over there in Corinth and letting them know, don't take the high road. Don't be arguing and bickering and fighting over every little thing. Don't be going to the law trying to check and cut a brother, right? With the scriptures, which we must, hold each other accountable. But, it gets to a point where it's kind of, it's base level and pretty immature and petty. So just let it go and give it to the Most High, and the Most High will sort it out. In the end, it'll work out, right? And so and that's what we do when we first come into the truth. When we first come into the truth, there's a lot of, Israel, we real competitive, and that's in everything. And that's the same thing in the truth as well. Seeing that plenty of times, in the truth, brothers want to, try to cut another brother and be everyone, a lot of them want to be the most wise one, or the most studied, or most, the best at quoting scriptures and having the most memorized scriptures and everything. Like, it's a bunch of senseless competition in Israel, and bickering and battling. And that's the same, that lets you know that there's nothing new under the sun. Same thing that was happening 2,000 years ago was happening again. So when we come into this truth, it's great, but you don't want to have too much zeal where you're trying to cut your brother by every little thing. Just give it to the Most High, and you just work out your own salvation with fear and trembling, and it'll all work out in the end, right? So, and that goes to being humble, because we know that pride, that contention, is cousins to pride. And so when you study contending every little thing, that's a bad look, and that's not well pleasing to the Most High. That goes into pride, always arguing, and that goes into trying to justify yourself in every little thing. So even if you may be right, just let it go, because it's not really worth it. At the end of the day, the Most High, He knows it all, and Yahushua, through Yahushua, it's going to get sorted out, right? So it goes into being humble and having humility and taking the high road, not in pride, but just staying, because the spirit is above spirit. The spirit is higher than the flesh. So you take the high road, you take the spiritual road, and not the carnal, fleshly road that's down there with Esau, Edom, the so-called white race, and all the heathen as well. So going to Luke 21 and verse 16. And ye shall be betrayed by both by parents and brethren and kinsfolks and friends. So your parents, sibling, your bloodline, your biological siblings, even close friends and cousins. And some of you shall they cause to be put to death, because some of them are going to hate you like Judas and rat you out and snitch on you and try to get you in trouble with Esau Edom. But we know the Most High will protect and preserve the elect. So that's what's going to happen. You're going to be betrayed. It's happened to me. It's happened to other brothers in the truth as well. And that's a mandatory trial that we must go through, because it's going to sever you from majority, if not all, of your family, friends, and cousins, and even your wife or husband, right? As 1 Corinthians chapter 7 speaks on, that's the marriage chapter, right? Speaking about the marriage with your spouse. If the unbelieving husband or wife still choose to dwell with that believing spouse, then they'll be sanctified through that believing spouse. So, it goes into being humble. We're going to be betrayed. You don't go ahead and try to fight it tooth and nail with them. You just leave them alone, let them alone, right? As Messiah say, let them alone. They be blind leaders of the blind, and they both going to fall into the ditch. It goes into the false prophets and everything, but that goes into like unbelievers and haters of your own family, right? And friends and your own spouse. So just take the high road, take the spiritual road, and because fleshly things cannot touch can't touch you when you're in your spiritual mind, being humble and just letting it all just roll off your back. So Luke chapter 14, in verse 10. But when thou art bidden, go and sit down in the lowest room. So when you go into a get together, a gathering, a feast day, something of many brethren, just go ahead and take the lowest seat. Just be happy to have a seat in the building, right? Go and sit down in the lowest, and that's what David said. If he can be a doorkeeper in the kingdom of heaven, he'll be infinitely blessed. Paraphrasing, right? So it's all about humility, and Yahushua had the most humility, and then David right under Yahushua, and it shows you the greatest men in Israel. The spirit hit me before. The more righteous you, the more humble you are, the more you are, the greater you are in Israel. But we know that's in the kingdom of Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai, and then Satan's kingdom that's ruled by Esau Edom. The more proud you are, the more arrogant, and the more foolish you are, the more you're uplifted. Like your Kevin Harts of the world and your Donald Trumps, all the nations, everyone that's highly esteemed, like the scriptures say, that which is highly esteemed amongst men is abomination to the Most High. So all these men are proud. They uplift themselves and extol themselves and their money and wealth and their achievements and success in Babylon the Great. But that's how you become great in this society, by lifting yourself up with your own hands and with your own strength. But you, like the scripture just said, be defrauded, meaning let men unrightfully condemn you, give it to the Most High. You be humble, and then the Most High is going to uplift you. That you're letting men think that they're getting the upper hand, but you're getting the upper hand by just staying humble, and then your reputation eventually going to be that of a humble man like Yahushua and David, which is going to exalt you. So reading on, says verse 10, but when thou art bidden, go and sit down in the lowest room, that when he that bade thee cometh, he may say unto thee. So the person that orchestrated the whole get together, he said he may say unto thee, friend, go up higher. And that goes into Yahushua ultimately, right, when he comes back. He may say unto thee, friend, go up higher. And that higher, ultimately in the spirit, deeper, when you think deeper into it, is what the chariots, when we get beamed up, and Revelation speaks of it, come up hither, meaning going to be blessed with salvation. He may say unto thee, friend, go up higher. Then shalt thou have worship in the presence of them that sit at meat with thee. So, like going to feast days and just, gatherings, get togethers, always be, it pays mightily to be humble. Because when you're proud, you get ashamed. You'll bring shame upon yourself eventually. Verse 11. And we know who's going to receive shame ultimately. Infinite shame would be the so-called white race, the Edomites. Verse 11. For whosoever exalteth himself shall be abased. I mean, if you lift yourself up, you're going to get knocked down. The Most High going to do it. And he that humbleth himself shall be exalted. The Most High delight in humble men. That's why the Most High said David was a man after his own heart, because he was the most humble in Israel, and he was the standard, in Israel until Yahushua, came on the scene approximately 2,000 years ago to set the true way unto the Most High mansion, which is many mansions for the elect, and ultimately all Israel. Okay, so from there we'll go ahead and get, so we know pastors, they love all of the we know pastors love to exalt themselves, and we know unless they repent, there could be some that repents and receive mercy, but we know that pastors won't make it, make it to salvation. 1 John 2:16. For all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh. So we know that the world here is fleshly, and the lust of the eyes, materialistic things, money. Nothing wrong with money, but the lust of money is the root of all evil. And the pride of life, and that pride, and then that's going into pride. When you wanting everything in the world, having much money as possible, is going into pride, which the Most High hates. It's not of the Father, but it's of the world, and the world right now is given into the hands of the wicked. Job 9:24. So the pride of life, this life here, Babylon Great, is all about pride. So we were just going into it, right? The more proud you are, the more possessions and money and success you will have, and then that goes into Satan, and that's not of the Most High. And the Most High is going to burn all that up, when he sends Yahushua to return. And that phrase, keeping up with the Joneses, that's that pride of life, which is not of the Most High, but of Satan. James, next we go to James 4:6. But he giveth more grace, wherefore he saith, Yahweh resisteth the proud, but giveth grace unto the humble. So only the humble that's being defrauded, that happily be defrauded and be reviled by men for the name of Yahushua, for the name of Yahweh and Yahushua. That's what Wah means. Wah means and in the Hebrew. Yahweh, Yahushua. So we can get that word resisteth. Let me click it again. Let's see. Okay, it's not working right now, but okay, there it is. Yeah, it's going a little slow. Tap in reverse. There it is. I think that's it. Let me see. No, it's not working. Okay, let's see. Here it is right there. The word resisteth right here. When you get that, it's this app is going slow right now. Or there it is. To range and battle against. To oppose oneself, resist, or the Most High is going to oppose you. And that is an infinite L you will catch, or infinite loss you will catch. If the Most High oppose you, that's immediate destruction for certain, for sure. That's of a certainty. So you want the Most High, that's a scary thought, for the Most High, the almighty power that created everything we see, to arrange himself in battle against you. And that's all because of what? Pride. That lets you know how much the Most High hates pride. And so like I get excited when I stutter a bit, when I get a bit excited. Salaki. So yeah, so the Most High, he opposeth the proud, but giveth grace unto the humble. So we want that grace, the elect, the hopeful elect. We're of the hopeful elect. It's all about humility. It's the only way we can make it to the kingdom. In Matthew 5:5. Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. And when is that? When Yahushua returns in the kingdom of heaven. The whole entire earth is for the Israelites through the Most High blessing, under Yahweh and Yahushua. The proud, when Yahushua returns, they will be opposed. The Most High is going to arrange in battle and destroy them with thermonuclear missiles. And the wicked will be destroyed. And the meek, the 1/3 of the Israelites, will be blessed with salvation and will inherit the earth. So we know that this is the so-called white man's kingdom right now, because he's inherited the earth right now. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked, but that's for a temporary season. And the proud will be wiped out. Matthew 18 and verse 3. And said, Verily I say unto you, except ye be converted and become as little children, ye shall not enter into the kingdom of heaven. So this is the Messiah letting us know that we must become little children. Why? Because when you look at a child, he's very humble. He listens. He do what you say. Unless the child is, raised, terribly, he's going to be a little demon. But, children, their nature, first and foremost, by default, is humbleness, and they're pure, right? And they're corrupted by evil, wicked men and women. So we must become pure, humble, and having that pure mind and spirit, and that spiritual mind, seeking sincerely the sincere milk, Isaiah 28:8-10. So we must become spiritual babies, and to be able to take that spiritual milk to grow thereby, and be able to take on the meatier, heavier understanding of the Bible, and to be able to teach, and grow. And that's the only way that we can grow. And so from there, going to Acts 8:31, a man cannot learn anything. He cannot grow unless he's willing to submit first unto Yahweh and Yahushua, and then also even other men that have had done the same thing before them, so that they can teach them. Acts 8:30, we'll start there. And Philip ran thither to him and heard him read the prophet Isaiah, that's Isaiah, and said, Understandest thou what thou readest? So Philip, a learned man, ran over to another brother and asked him, do he know what he's reading? And then verse 31, and he responded, he said, how can I, except some man should guide me? So that's becoming a little child being guided by a man. Only a man can lead children. A learned man, because he was a baby as well, spiritual baby, and he got built up and learned, and then he could teach other men, other men that's become spiritual babes, that's humble enough to know that they have to be taught. It's all through the spirit, but men on earth is in the stead of the Messiah until he returns, right? And it's up to the Most High to give you that spirit to be able to comprehend and understand. Let's see. And he desired Philip that he would come up and sit with him. So he desired that a man should come and teach him, because he was humble and know that he can't learn this unless a man is guiding him, and the spirit has to be dealing with you to even be humble, and then to be able to receive that which the man is a learned man is teaching you. And it's only men, not women. That's blasphemy, and that's wickedness against the Most High for a woman to teach. Matthew 21. It's profane. Profane is what? Offensive to that which is holy, and that's the Holy Scriptures say, I suffer not a woman to teach. Matthew, and we know Christianity has nothing but has a ton of women in there teaching, they're of Satan. Matthew 21 and verse 5. Tell ye the daughter of Zion, behold, thy king cometh unto thee, meek, and sitting upon an ass, and a coat, the foal of an ass. So that's the King Yahushua. He's coming into the Israel. First, he's coming meek, lowly to the earth, and humble. And that he's showing his body how to follow him, the head, Yahushua. We first must become lowly and humble and meek. And then we abase ourselves, because Yahushua, that's a very humbling thing for the Messiah. He has, he had the spirit without measure given unto him by the Most High. But he knew, he was humble, and he came into Jerusalem on a donkey. It's a very humbling thing, and it's very powerful and beautiful. How humble Yahushua was, the Messiah, and how he is. So, and that's the same way we're supposed to be: meek, being defrauded by brethren, by family members, friends, even your own spouse, right, and cousins, and all your kinfolk, and take it happily. So from there we'll go to Matthew 18:36. Let me see. No, John 18:36. Yahushua answered, "My kingdom is not of this world. If my kingdom were of this world, then would my servants fight, and the servants are the prophets, and that's the chief of the elect. That I should not be delivered to the Jews, because that's the wicked, unbelieving Pharisees, Sadducees, and the 2/3 that hated and wouldn't receive the Messiah and rejected the chief cornerstone of the nation of Israel. But now is my kingdom not from hence." So that goes to showing you the Messiah. He could have easily just wiped out everybody if he wanted to, but it wasn't that time to take out the wicked that hated him. But he had to be humble and suffer all these things upon those that hated him, and then gain that finish the course, being humble and meek, and not just suffering at the hands of evil, wicked, vain men. And then once he finished that course, then the next time is when it's going to go down, right? It's going to be the full proper way that it should happen, of the Messiah taking down all of our enemies. And that begins with the two-third wicked Israelites that don't want to submit underneath the Messiah, underneath Yahweh and Yahushua. And real quick, just to get this real fast, because when this isn't going to happen now, but when he returns, Luke 19, verse 27, "But those mine enemies, which would not that I should reign over them," that's the wicked Pharisees, Sadducees, and the 2/3, beginning with them, bring here, and slay them before me." So that's what's going to happen when the Messiah returns, because we know that the Messiah didn't slay nobody at that time, because he knew, he knew the assignment. He had to be humble and meek, with all meekness and the humility, and suffer, and he had to suffer all these things by the wicked, right? The wicked 2/3 rulers, and then by ultimately the Romans, the Edomites, that crucified him, because the wicked 2/3 rejected the Messiah. And when he returns, he's not going to meet mankind as a man, but in his full glory and power, and going to slay them then. So we can't fight now, we just have to suffer. And just the same way our beautiful Messiah did, and wait for him to return to bail us out of this prison through the Most High Power's appointed time, through his infinite mercies. So Luke 9:22, saying, "The Son of Man must suffer many things, and be rejected of the elders and chief priests and scribes, and be slain, and be raised the third day." So that's the wicked Pharisees, Sadducees, that's going to reject them, and going to that was always trying to find occasion to accuse him for an accusation, so that they can try to take him down, because they knew the people were beginning to believe upon him through the works and the teachings that he spoke with power and authority, and that he was swaying the people, and then they were hating because they didn't want to, because they were of Satan, of the Romans, that were set up by the Romans. So Matthew 26, it's Matthew 26 and 52. Then said Yahushua unto him, "Put up again thy sword into his place, for all they that take the sword shall perish with the sword." So that means, don't fight. Because why would someone fight? Because they're under attack. So that means don't fight. You're not supposed to, be defrauded. Don't go law to law with one another. Don't verbally fight, and don't physically fight. We must spiritually endure, take that spiritual high road, and that's the only way we can grow. The sincere milk and being and staying in the spirit. The spirit is about, doing everything in decency and in order, and not being fleshly and battling against these people until the Messiah returns, and then shall the elect fight and battle with the wicked together with the Messiah, through the power of Yahweh that grants the power unto the elect. So with that being said, I hope this video was edifying. The water to the Rachak Wadash for another video. This next video I say, Shalom.